Alright gang, welcome back to Maypole Farms and our Vanilla Survival Challenge with a twist. I've made a bit of a mess. I'm going to be fully transparent with you. Well, I guess I'll just show it to you. It's the easiest way to do it. We've got some issues with trees getting glitched and stuck into the fence. So we're going to be dealing with that for a little bit today. But as you can tell, I've knocked down pretty much every tree. There are still a couple of trees back here in the corner, and these two here that we have not removed yet, or at least cut down yet. But we've got an issue with a couple of these trees that I kind of cut from farther away, not realizing they were going to lean up against this fence here, and they're now kind of stuck in there. So we might have to go to a situation where we just cut those so we can actually get those out. We also have an issue way over here. Well, this is just an absolute disaster of a mess over here. I really cut down too many is what I did. I just kind of got a little happy with my chainsaw there and cut down just more than I should have. But we've got this one that's like stuck in here, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to get this one out. We've got this tree, which I don't know how I was able to cut it, because it's actually not even really in our land. Let me cut it. So anyway, we've got quite a bit of issue here on the fence line that we're going to have to deal with. But for the time being, what we're doing right now is just going to try to get rid of some of these ones that I actually have pulled out and staged over here, ready to be delivered here to our sawmill. And as you can clearly tell from the last episode, we have gained a lot of more money than where we left off with, and that's because I've been obviously chopping those trees down and selling them. We've been pretty much doing nothing but this every episode leading up to this, so I thought I would try again, as with the last episode, to make a little bit more progress off camera, in hopes that we'll be able to accomplish finishing this today, and maybe, just maybe, buying a plow and getting this field plowed up and drilled today. I don't know. There's a slim chance, I think, and I think the actual planter we have, we can't even put anything in the ground today anyway, so we'd have to buy another one if we decided to go that route. Yeah, wheat, oilseed radish, grass, and barley are all the only things we can do, and I'm pretty sure our planter cannot do any of those. Oh, wait, it can do canola. All right, we're good. Never mind, it can do canola. We're good. Oh, no, canola's done. Never mind. I thought canola was still for this month too, but canola ends in September. Whoops. All right, well, I guess we're not doing any of that today, but at least we can try to get the field plowed up and prepped and ready to go, right? And then with the amount of money we have remaining, we can start to work on expanding our land here a bit, right? We talked about that. My goal here, the rule I put on myself was I had to complete everything as far as removing everything, I should say, all of the trees, and turning this into an arable field before we moved on and bought anything else, right? Because with the money we have right now, we technically could buy some more stuff, certainly. And what I mean by that is land. I'm not specifically talking about equipment. We've already bought equipment back and forth, right? That's allowed to happen. But we're not allowed to expand our land capacity until we actually have this one all complete, and the completion for this means that we have all the trees at least removed from what we can. Now, we've got those ones, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode here, that are stuck in the wall there, so I don't know what we're going to do with that, but if we can't get to them, then we can't get to them, right? They're not going to really be considered. We're just going to have to chop that off and unfortunately take a bit of that loss from chopping that portion of that tree off, right? Not really the most ideal situation, but, you know, it'll work. It'll work, I guess. I've got some eyes on some pieces of land that I would like to purchase today as well. So we will see how that moves along and how that goes. But first things first, we've got to get all these trees taken care of, right? And taking care of all these trees very well may take us to the very end of the episode. Like I said, I would love to have this field all plowed up and ready to go. But let's be real. The odds are it's probably not going to not going to happen, right? There's a lot to do. We got to get rid of all these stumps. We got to get all these trees out of here. I mean, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do, if I'm honest. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. Things are as good as they can be, I guess, here. All things considered. Can I hook onto anything here? Nope. I didn't think so. Can I get this out of here yet? Yes, I can. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. I cannot. Oh, maybe. Yes. That was one of the trees that's been causing me mayhem as well. It got stuck into that tree, and that's where I was like, I bet I can't cut this down. And it let me cut it down, so I was ecstatic about that. But at least that's one of the ones that I thought we were going to have to completely chop and remove and not gain anything for. We've now got it, so good thing there as well. So this week, we should actually have the Mountain Survival series coming back as well. I decided to go a different approach. Everyone, for the most part, seemed to relatively be okay and kind of like what I started to attempt to make here with the shorts, with kind of a schedule, a weekly schedule release, if you will. Everyone seemed to enjoy it for the most part. Oh, look at this. We're actually going to get this whole thing out of here. I thought this was going to be a bigger issue than it was, because it was sitting like right on top of that fence. Interesting. Anyway, everyone seemed to like that for the most part. So I've tried something different. It should be out by now on my shorts. A little bit more to it versus just kind of a screen capture of a schedule that I created, right? So hopefully it's something that you like. I gave it a little bit more to it, some actual motion to it, and it's not just a screenshot. But let me know your thoughts if you haven't checked that out. Please do, and let me know your thoughts. I can continue to try to modify and change things as I move along, right? Try to continue to make it better, if you will. But I'm relatively happy with how it came out. I am very, very surprised we get that big tree out of there. That is going to be some good money, this one. Look at that. We even got it flipped around. Things are going great here, gang. I don't even know what is happening right now. I thought the ending here was going to be a disaster, considering what I already talked about with the trees stuck on the fence, and it might still be. But at least we got this big one out of there. That was a huge one for us, getting this big one. The other ones that are stuck, I mean, they're not the biggest trees in the world. So if I lose a tiny bit of that profit from that tree, not really that big of a deal. A week from today, I will actually be in Vegas. It'll be a day tomorrow. Actually, a week from tomorrow will be my birthday. So that's going to be fun. Fun little trip. I've talked about that before. I play poker in a league every week, and it is basically the big tournament they do once a year in Vegas. So it's gonna be pretty fun. Last year they had, I think it was like 1,400 people, which is the most they've ever had, or it was around that. High 13s if it wasn't 14. So they extended it this year. They added another day to it, which is not really the most ideal situation for me, but I mean, I'm kind of happy they did. Last year they had so many people and they weren't expecting it. They had people kind of sitting in the hallways for at least the first couple of hours until people started getting knocked out, of course, right? Yeah, crazy that they had to utilize hallways in Old Vegas for a poker tournament because they weren't expecting as many as they got. It would be great to win that thing, man. That would be something that would be super helpful right now, considering things that are going on in real life that we don't really talk about all that much. But yeah, it'd be awesome to win that right now. I've got a lot of unfortunate bills to pay for. I've got one of my best friend's bachelor party, which he's a lunatic. He's making us go to basically Mexico for it, which I'm like, man, just go somewhere easier, go somewhere cheaper. Don't make me spend all this money for your second marriage. Nope, we're going. That's where we're going. So, anyway, but yeah. So hopefully they have a similar or same amount as last year. Hopefully it's around the 1,400 people. That'd be fantastic if it is. Gives you a lot more opportunity to make more money because the more people that are there, the more spots they open up to pay. Okay. The more spots they open up to pay, like for the payouts, right? So last year was the first year that I actually did this Vegas tournament that they put on. They've been putting on for decades. I missed the money, but only just. I think I missed the money by like 20 people. Now, when I say I missed the money, really what I'm saying is I get my money back for, the tournament entry. So the tournament entry is included with your hotel stay, which is kind of nice. It's not outrageously expensive either. They get a pretty good deal. But still, it would have been nice, right? That would have been nice to get that back. I think if I would have really played conservative for a little bit longer, I might have still had a chance to make it. But I had such a good hand. And I was against somebody who had tons of chips, so I could easily double up. And, you know, I only had so many big blinds left that, you know, there's a chance that, like I said, if I didn't play a single hand for the remainder of the time, maybe I made the money, just maybe. But, I mean, I would be right on the edge, right? It would be a back-and-forth situation on if I would make it or not. So I took a chance because I got top pair with a good kicker. Some lady called me, an older lady called me. She couldn't lose, so I knew as soon as she called me, I knew I was absolutely screwed. She called me with ace high. I had a king and a king 10 suited. And a king, it was a king 7, I remember this very well. It was a king 7 king 7-9 on the flop. So I pushed all in. She tanked for, I don't know, 15 minutes probably. I probably could have called a clock on her. I didn't. If you know anything about poker, you know you can, in a tournament like that, you can call a clock on somebody. I didn't call clock. I'm surprised nobody else at the table called clock, though, if I'm honest with you, because there was one other person at the table that had a little bit less chips than I did. Anyway, she finally decided that she was going to call after 10-plus minutes of tanking. With ace-queen. A good hand, don't get me wrong, it's a good hand, but I don't know if I would call that with the amount of money that I had. It would definitely put a dent in her. She would still have plenty, but it would put a dent in her. But anyway, she called. That's fine, she's allowed to do what she wants. I mean, I probably would have a better, with what I'm getting ready to tell you, I probably would have had better luck playing the lottery than the odds of this happening. So I had king 10, right? I had king high, so I had a pair of kings. Push all in. She calls ace queen. Offsuit, by the way. King, ace, queen. So the turn comes out. It's a queen. Okay, well, that sucks. That gives her more outs, but I still, you know, I'm still fine, right? Really, at that point, she's got, technically, she's got 6 outs, right? She's got 6 outs at the point when she gets that queen. 3 more queens pop out, or another ace. 3 more aces, right? And guess what the river is? I'm going to give you a few seconds to guess it. It was not a queen. I'm sorry, it was not an ace. It was a queen. It was a queen. She hit runner, runner, queen. The odds of her hitting 2 queens in a row are astronomical. And she hit it. So, like I said, as soon as she called, I knew I was screwed, but I still felt pretty good about my showing, right? That's the first time I've been in a tournament anywhere near that amount of people. The most I've ever played prior to that, I think, was like 100 people, which was a lot for me at the time. This is the one that's stuck in here. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this thing out. So, you know, I mean, I made it through. I think they paid out like the top 140 or something. So I made it through a lot of people, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, right? I made it through a lot of people. 1,400 people, and there was only like 160 people left when I went out. I got a pretty good showing for your first time at a big tournament like that. So hopefully I can at least just, I mean, I'm not even saying I want to get the money. I just want to, you know, replicate that same exact thing. If I can do that, that means I'm really close to being, you know, in a situation where I actually think I have more of a chance to play in some bigger tournaments like that, right? The only reason I'm even playing in the size tournament that this one is because it's, you know, for the league that I play in already. And it just gives you an opportunity to play against other people, and in a tournament, you know, of that size, it gives you more experience. Oh, this is the other one that's stuck. I forgot. It gives you more experience, right, and tries to get you to be in a better situation. I would love to at some point in my life, way down the road, probably retirement type of age. I'm probably not going to have the money for it until then. But I'd love to play in the World Series of Poker at some point. I think that would be fun. That would be like one of the bigger goals for me, I think, personally, is to do that. So we chopped those trees down. That's unfortunate. We're going to lose a little bit of yield there, but it's not terrible, right? It's not. It could be worse. It could be worse. We'll put it that way. Might be time to bring the stump grinder over here, get rid of some more of these stumps. We've got quite a lot of these stumps here, and might be time to clean some of those up a little bit and make it a little easier on us. I'm going to try to pick up one of these other ones right here real quick. I don't normally love doing any kind of time lapses here when it comes to forestry work. I've mentioned that I know more times than I can count as well. But I think today we probably will do it just to get the rest of this accomplished. There's a lot to do, man. There's a lot to do. Hopefully we don't run out of daylight. Maybe I should turn down the speed of the time here, but... we're still making good money. We're around $163,000. That's really, really good money here, gang. We are cruising along here. Let's see how many more of these we can get over here. Let's continue to do this process of pulling all of these trees out and selling them. Let's continue on. All right, we are almost done there, gang. I'm going to make sure I keep that time lapse a little bit slower than normal. So it might be a little bit longer than a normal time lapse would be, but we got pretty much everything all done now. We've got to bring a few more of them over here. All the trees have been cut down, which is fantastic. Still having some issues, but overall, not too bad, not too bad. We've got a few more things to clean up over there as well, like the stumps. And then that field will honestly be ready for plowing. Now, since we're not going to be putting anything in the ground there today, more than likely, the odds are that we don't necessarily have to do any of the plowing today, and this episode is going to probably get pretty long if we did do the plowing, which, nothing wrong with that, but we will see where we are as far as the time goes, and for the capture for the game, for the recording for this episode. Don't want to make it too long. Although I do know some people do enjoy the longer episodes. But I'd like to, as I mentioned already, kind of look at, some other plots of land and try to kind of sort that out as we move forward here for the rest of the winter months. Now, do we necessarily need to buy anything today? No. Are we going to buy anything today? I don't know yet. Maybe. Depends on if we do the plowing or not, right? If we have the time to do the plowing after I'm done with getting the rest of these trees over here and getting rid of the rest of the stumps, then we probably won't buy anything. If we don't have enough time, then there's a high likelihood that we probably will purchase something. Like I said at the beginning, I've got a couple, things on my mind that I'm looking at potentially purchasing. One of those is like a yard type of area. I'm not positive though if I will purchase the yard one first thing. I might be more focused on trying to get some equipment that we're going to require, and maybe some other fields, right? We really want more than just one field here if we're going to start turning this into Arables type of a series at this point, right? And I will tell you that I won't want to do any tree work on this series for quite a while, so we can sell our tree stuff, so basically the winch and the stump grinder here. Once we've got everything sorted out here on this one, we can do that. There actually are a few more trees up yonder back there I talked about already that I do plan to get rid of. We're going to get rid of those for a couple of reasons. One, I think we can nicely tuck the planter back in there. I think it's a good spot for it. I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with that area, and that planter came up in the used market, and we had to take it. We couldn't pass up that opportunity, so I think that would be a good spot to kind of store it. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to be stored underneath cover, but that's okay. It's used anyway. So we're going to focus on that. So when I say we're going to get rid of all of this stuff, it probably won't be today because I'm not going to knock those trees down today. Those are probably going to be a November obstacle to take on. We will not be doing another episode in October. That will be that for sure. I know that for sure. We will be jumping to November for the next episode. So we can absolutely get rid of whatever is up there. I think there's only like maybe 5 or 6 up there that we'll have to get rid of. Could be a little bit more of a struggle to get those out too. So we're gonna have to be very, very precise. A lot of precision there to get those out of where we ended up building our yard a little bit too early than we probably should have. Otherwise, it probably would have been a lot easier to get those over here. But nonetheless, we should be able to pull them out into what eventually will be, a crop field over here. This area that we've kind of cleared out. A couple other things we'll do today. I already talked about, taking the smoothing tool and trying to smooth out a little bit of this land here. It's not going to be perfect no matter which way we cut it. Well, I guess that's not really the right terminology to use here, but no matter which way we go about it, it's not going to be perfect. But we'll get it pretty close where it shouldn't be an issue for a drill planter or harvester of any sort, right? If it ends up being that case that it is an issue and that we're not able to, get it sorted for some reason, for one reason or another, then we can do something else with this land, right? There's other type of crops we can do, right? Whether that's grapes and olives or grass, even, right? Grass can be done here easily. There's a lot of options, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. I would love to make it an arable field if at all possible, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? I'm wondering if this is still going to cause an issue, because I was trying to get this thing and it was not cooperating already. So I'm wondering if we're going to be running into some issues here with this tree still, even though I chopped it. Nope, we got it to move. We're good. Now there are trees on the other side of the way there. We are going to have to deal with those at some point. I don't think it's going to allow me to do a whole lot as far as cutting them goes. I'm not even sure if it's going to allow me to winch them. But we can at least look at that as well, probably in the next episode too, right? We just want to make sure we clean everything up as much as we can. As a matter of fact, now that I said that, I think I did in the time lapse. I think I saw that there was another tree kind of hidden over here. I think. Yeah, there it is. I knew it. Okay, I can't pick that up by hand. So, let's go get it. I don't really want to leave any trees in the way of any sort for our neighbors here, if at all possible, right? This is probably going to be a bit of a struggle to get this. But I think we'll be able to manage. Oh, well, maybe I spoke a little bit too soon there, because now we're having all kinds of issues getting this to... There we go. That'll work. I should be able to hook it to it. Perfect. Lots of stumps to get rid of, though. Lots and lots of stumps to get rid of. But, I mean, when you look at this field compared to what it looked like with all the trees, it's actually a pretty large field. That's going to provide us a good amount of money. So, we're going to be, well, we already are, but we're going to end up over $200,000 to play with here, which sounds like a lot. It is a lot. But considering what we're trying to do here, it's actually not that much. Please, trigger, please. Please, trigger, please. Thank you. All right, so we end up with $210,830. Pretty damn good, man. Pretty damn good. So I'm going to put the winch away for right now. As I mentioned, we're not going to be selling it specifically today. Next month, it will be sold once we get rid of the trees back in that area. That's the area I'm talking about that we're going to probably put this planter in. I think it just makes sense back there. I think it fits back there as well. So for the time being, this can just be put away. And honestly, it's not the largest yard in the world, but I do think for the most part we'll be able to maneuver a lot of things in here. So we probably don't really need to focus on a new yard for a little while, right? This will probably do the trick for the time being. At least until we get to a situation where we got too much equipment. And you know, it's probably going to be sooner than you think, but at least for a little while, we should be okay utilizing what we've got. Might be difficult to back things in sometimes, but, you know, that's all part of it, right? That's all part of it. So what I'd like to do here, because these are the ones I think I'm going to miss, is try to hit the ones on the ends, the edges here, first. The ones in the middle, very easy to see, right? I just know if we decide to utilize a worker at some point, these are the things that are going to cause me mayhem. And I think some of those trees sticking out there, that might cause a little bit of mayhem as well in regard to workers. They don't like things that are even remotely close to them. They think it's in the way, and then they freak out and they don't do exactly what you're asking. Yeah, there's definitely some of those trees. We're definitely going to take care of those in the next episode for sure. Those are pretty obvious that they were from me into the neighbor's yard here. And there's kids back there. You don't want them playing around with those. Running around and just smash their face into a tree. Now, the nice thing about this is it seems they made some kind of an update, or perhaps it's just have something to do with the map, but I'm not coming close to some of these, and it's taking away the stumps, so I don't know. I'm not going to complain, though. It's a good thing for me. Makes my life a little bit easier. All right, so looking at the time right now, I don't think we're going to have time to plow this field today. It will take us a while to plow it. Even if I buy a big plow, which I'm kind of leaning towards doing, it will take us a while to do this field. It's not going to be a quick type of thing, and I don't really necessarily want it to be a quick type of thing anyway. So when we're done doing all the stumps here, we will take a look and see as far as land goes, or maybe equipment goes. Maybe there's something out there in the used market potentially for us now. I doubt it, but you never know. Always worth taking another peek. Can't hurt. Thing I don't want to do specifically is I definitely want to buy some equipment, but I don't necessarily know if we need to really buy any equipment specifically today either. Even though I said that that's an option for us to maybe potentially do today, I think maybe buying land is probably a smarter investment right now. Obviously keeping some money back for equipment we're going to need to buy, but you never know what might pop up in the used market. We normally don't get lucky, but you never know. There might be something out there in the next episode, and then we, purchase something else that costs us more money or whatever, when we could have been saving a little bit of money. It sounds like we have a ton of money with $210,000, and it is a decent amount of money. It really is. But I mean, we don't really have anything, gang. We've got this plot of land. We've got a planter. What else do we have? We don't have anything. We don't have any seeds or fertilizer. We don't have anything. Right? We don't have a plow. We don't have a harvester. We don't have anything. I thought I saw a stump up here, but I don't know. Maybe not a stump. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Nope, it's not. I was like, there's a little hidden stump up there that I missed, but it wasn't. It was just the way the sun was hitting that rock, I guess. I think these are the final three right here, gang. I don't think we're done. I think that's it. The best way for us to do that, I just looked in the used market there, but the best way for us to do it that I've found, at least on console, is to kind of go up in a bird's eye view like this, and then just kind of, do a bit of a scan, if you will. See if you see anything that pops up. Not seeing anything. Looking like we did an okay job there with getting rid of these stumps. Yeah. Alright, so let's go put this back over here, away, for the time being. Like I said, we're going to utilize it next month. So it'll be back. And then we'll probably be getting rid of it after that. I don't think we're going to use it again once we get rid of these trees back in here. I don't think there's a reason to have it anymore. Alright, so that has been accomplished. And look at how big that is, man. That is a huge piece of land there. Let's do a little softening here and see if we're going to spend a little money doing this, and that's okay. I'm alright with that. This area right here was pretty severe. So if I can just make it a little bit smoother, same with up in here. It's really tall, really high up here, and then it kind of, does a complete steep slope down here towards the crop field. That does look a little bit better. I mean, it's still not perfect, but it looks a little bit better. I think we can get away with doing a crop field here and harvesting it. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be okay. All right, so at least it's $205,000 after doing that. There are a few things out here that we could consider. One is this harvester, but gosh, it is so expensive. I don't think that's the smartest play. So we'll pass on that. Obviously, the tractor was not a smart play at all. The tractor was $327,000. We don't even have enough money for that. This, again, I don't think we even have 400 horsepower, so that is not going to work. So, yeah, nothing there. Now, fields and things to purchase. So one thing I was looking at buying was this. It's $39,200. This was going to be what eventually will be probably our main yard. It's got tons and tons of stuff on it. We don't need all of this stuff on it. We really don't. Really, I would probably keep the silos and maybe a shed or two, and the rest of this I would probably remove and do my own thing with, whether it's greenhouses or whatever I decided to do. You know, selling a lot of these would get probably most of the money back. Well, selling that one would get more than the cost of the entire thing, which is a little weird, right? It's a little weird that maybe I should tell myself I have to keep that one but I don't really. That's one of the ones I would want to get rid of. But I mean, you're making more money by buying this land. You just buy that and sell these things, and you're making more money. So it's a little unrealistic, I guess. But anyway, okay. So fields. So this is where we are right here, right? We would want to stay somewhere within, the range of where we are currently. I think what I'd like to do actually is something a little bit different than what you probably would normally do. So this is our land here, right here. There's this as well that you could potentially buy. How much is that? I bet it's outrageous. That's huge. Well, it's only 53 for that. It's another 56 for that. That's actually not that bad. Maybe that's the one we go with. Interesting. Because that is a larger area. And it still gives me a silo that I'm looking for. And it looks like a pigsty. That's something to think about, I guess. So anyway, what I'm trying to get at is we would want to probably stay, within this range. So this is the field that I was just looking at. I don't dislike this one. I think I kind of like the idea of buying this one. I think the big problem here is these fences, from what I can tell, I cannot remove them unless there's maybe a trigger point somewhere else on the map that removes all of those. I don't think there's a way to remove that. So, I don't know where's the entry point at for this field. I don't even know where it is. Over here. Okay. So it is a pretty far drive, even though it's next to us. We have to go all the way down and around. Not that there's something wrong with that. There's not, but this field, how expensive is that field right next to us? 208. That's basically all the money we have. It's corn. That's why I'm saying there's a lot of fields here that are relatively inexpensive, and they're they're within reason for us to purchase. But then we've got this over here, which is another yard. Almost seems like it might be worth trying to buy this field, and then we can keep this track here, and maybe even extend the track and come all the way. Well, nope, there's a fence there. Never mind. I was going to say, look, I didn't think there was a fence here for some reason, but there is. And I was like, well, then we could remove this and connect it to here, and then we've got two big connections to go across the map, but this fence is here. I really wish we could remove these fences. Yeah, there's no way for me to remove that fence. Maybe somebody knows. If you know in the comments, if there's an area for me to actually remove the fences somewhere, let me know. It's definitely not working where we expect it to work. I guess I could buy that too, which is kind of interesting. Because it says I can remove that. I can remove all of these buildings, but I can't remove some of these houses, which is a little weird. Anyway. So this one, it's got to be a very similar price to this, right? It's got to be. 198. It basically takes up all the money we have. It's canola and it's withered. That's spinach. I don't know, gang. I think I need to think about this a little bit more. I'm kind of, going back and forth on a lot of these things. I'm not really sure which one to go with here. I really don't. The thing about, purchasing one of these yard areas I'm saying here and then selling all the stuff there, that kind of removes what the challenge is about, right? That basically gives me tons of money and makes my life so much easier. So that doesn't seem really like something I should even consider. Although I'd love to have the land there, it doesn't really seem like something I should consider because it's unrealistic, right? I'm paying 39,000 for the land here, and then I could sell that one building for $86,000. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm going to think about this some more. I really don't want to necessarily go that direction, I don't think. But let me know your thoughts if that was something that you would bother you or not. But we're going to leave the episode at that point. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, smash the like and subscribe button for me. Thanks to my members. Cannot thank you guys enough. And I'll see you on the next episode.